Let's head right to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
I don't think the offense cost us the game, even though, yes, they had 2 turnovers, which we cannot do. And the defense, they put their asses off. They played really, really well and sound. But, like, special teams, that always decides the game for us. And that happened last year. Bubba Ventrone skipped the whole question of, were you guys looking to hire a kicking specialist? And they should have, because first it was Kay York and Dustin Hopkins, then this guy, Schmitz. We have got to be solid on special teams, especially extra points. And regardless of what the offense did or defense did, special teams is called special for a reason. They have to execute when they're called upon.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. Let's welcome in Jeff Lloyd, host of Browns 3D on the Orange and Brown Report. And Jeff, it's 4 points, so yes, special teams cost them the game. And we'll get into this a little bit more in a minute. They ran the ball for 2 yards a carry against a defense that isn't expected to be great. And they turned the ball over twice. Can't do those things. They are not explosive enough to only run the ball for 2 yards a carry and turn the ball over.
Yeah, I think you're really hitting the nail on the head here. And this is something we kind of had talked about, is because the running game going into the season was an absolute mystery. Yes, there was a little work done in the final preseason game. There wasn't certainly much run, of course, for Dylan Sampson or for Jerome Ford. Rocket Sanders wasn't even here yet. So we really had no idea what we were going to see from, the running game. There were a couple of blocks from Wyatt Teller that were kind of like highlight worthy, but it didn't really look like the entire run game was kind of in unison. And look, it's extremely difficult to simulate these things. The other thing, especially with a veteran-laden offensive line, these guys are, trying to be smart with their work in the summer, trying to make sure that they're staying healthy. God knows that has been an issue for this offensive line the last couple of years. So, it was going to be a question of, what were you actually going to get? What was the product going to be? Certainly a lot to be desired, because you can bring up the field goal, you can bring up the extra point, and certainly those things mattered. But, if the offense had run close to, 100 yards, which, we've kind of been accustomed when the Kevin Stefanski run game is working well, you match that with the 290 plus in the air, you would have had 400 yards of total offense. And most likely, you probably would have won this game, 27-17. You would have given yourself more opportunities, certainly within that red zone, and it wouldn't have made that missed extra point or that missed field goal so crucial. This is not something Quinshon Judkins, when he, eventually does make it back, still waiting to be, here. I'll rest on that, of course. But that's not going to fix everything. There's got to be holes. And, the holes weren't necessarily there for Sampson. They weren't there for Ford. They weren't necessarily there for Sanders. That tells you that it is a group collective issue. And I guarantee you, Stefanski, knowing how important that is to his offense, and certainly how important lengthening the game offensively to keep his defense fresh, this is definitely something that's a big focus right now for the Browns.